take a look at issues surrounding the new National Security Advisor and the challenges ahead as it concerns security in Nigeria. Well,
exactly.
Ribadu, who was recently appointed, has assumed duties as a National Security Advisor, NSA. Unlike many who easily construe the merit of the office of the NSA as one coordinating a fighting force on behalf of the government. Its essential mandate, however, consists of intelligence gathering,
That's right,
processing and dissemination towards warding off threats to the well-being of the nation as well.
Yeah.
And of course, upon resumption of office, Ribadu talked on Tinubu's vision to secure Nigeria, which is a major thing to do. He says the enormous task of securing the country is that of all Nigerians and friends of Nigeria as well. I think that point where he comes from makes it brilliant too.
Very true.
And he came into office with a pledge to subdue insecurity and stabilize the world's most populous black nation. Ribadu took over from former NSA Babagana Mongunu. I remember some time ago, sometime last year, Arewa called for the removal of Babagana as the NSA.
Of course.
Following his appointment by President Bola Tinubu on June 19, Ribadu resumed. He said the administration of President Tinubu had the enormous responsibility of securing Nigeria, stabilizing it, and of course ensuring peace in all parts of the country. And according to him, this is a work for Nigerians, and we intend to continue with that, what has been done. That's in his words.
That is so correct. Mr. Ribadu solicited the full cooperation of all servicemen and women, and by extension, all Nigerians. He said there was a need to unite to accomplish the present administration's quest for a more stable, peaceful, and prosperous Nigeria. Well, the former NSA, Mr. Mongunu, described Mr. Ribadu as well-equipped, well-qualified, and well-educated to lead the country's security agenda. He said the retired police officer has a very deep understanding of the complexities of the security challenge confronting the Federal Republic of Nigeria. He added that the new NSA has the capacity to tackle whatever challenges he might encounter, having served in various top tasking positions in the past, given his pedigree.
Okay, part of
I
what
couldn't
he
agree
said,
more.
you know, part of what he said he has been able to hand over a comprehensive, because it's important, notes to him, yes, and also briefed him extensively. Well, the National Advisor, Security Advisor, is a senior official in the cabinet of the President of Nigeria, who manages national security on behalf of the President himself, and serves as his chief advisor on all matters that are vital to the very survival of the state, and that has its concerns intelligence and security in a country.
That's very well. So unlike the belief that people think the NSA controls the entire military architecture of the nation, I think the NSA is more of an intelligence office attached to the presidency and heavily guarded by the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
So he can't just act on his own. All right, quick one. Let's get to our guests who have been on standby. And of course, we have so many issues on ground to talk about security, because this is one sector of Nigeria that I think, I can't say less has been done about it, because the past administration talk about Jonathan, talk about, I'm really looking at Jonathan and Buhari now. Of course, there have been so many high rise, increase in insurgency, but they have tried their best. But with President Tinubu coming in, and of course the choices of the service chiefs he has appointed so far makes it look like, oh, come on, they're
ready for business.
Yes.
All right. Okay, so real quick, we'll have to introduce our guests. Comrade Osaze Edigin is the former publicity secretary, Edo Civil Society Organizations. Comrade Osaze, good evening to you, and sorry for the slight delay.
Welcome,
It's nice to see your face. Comrade, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Comrade Leftist.
Welcome on the show, Comrade Osaze.
Welcome.
Yeah, we can hear you.
I'm glad to be part of
and
can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. I'm about to introduce you now. Comrade Efe Odomo is a consultant in security issues. Good evening to you. Comrade Efe, can you hear me?
Hello, Comrade Efe Odomo.
I hear you now.
Good evening to you.
Okay, good evening and welcome to the show.
All right, while we're still battling with the connections with Comrade Efe, Comrade Osaze, Ribadu, finally, you know the whole thing started as a rumor. Then we saw a list, special advisor on security matters. And then after a few days, the office of the NSA became sacrosanct with retired AIG Nuhu Ribadu. How do you feel? Let's start from how you feel.
Well, to start off, I think now is very, very important to the president vis-a-vis security of the country. As a retired police officer, I think he has all it takes to advise the president on security issues. Even as a former or the first EFCC boss of this country, I think he has a wealth of experience to bring to the table. And we shouldn't.
No, but hold on a bit. Hold on a bit. A lot of people will disagree with you that a former police officer who's only, who only has experience in internal security should be national security advisor.
To the
Because of
president.
course, the office of the national security advisor also helps the president to formulate international policies. How do you feel? Because there's been a lot of rumors that even, in what we call Bush radio, that some military officers are not particularly comfortable that
course.
someone without a military background
it's being
will be made NSA. So what do you think?
You see, when we're talking about security, there are different aspects to it. We are not talking about going to war as it were. You see, security starts from intelligence gathering. It's not only about taking up arms to confront criminals. Intelligence gathering is the basics of fighting insecurity. And as a police officer, you can't take that away from a trained police officer, whether it is internal or international. At that level, you can't say Ribadu has not attended any international courses to up himself or upgrade himself as well. So we are not talking about going to war. We're talking about intelligence gathering. That is the art of security. So when we are talking about a police officer becoming the advisor to the president, we are looking at a man who can gather intelligence to help Mr. President and advise accordingly on how to tackle the high rate of insecurity in the country.
All right, sorry to interrupt you. What you've just said, I want you to insert the name Nuhu Ribadu with all you have known about him and how he has helped to be, the chairman of the anti-graft agency, and insert it. Do you think, in your own opinion, do you think Nuhu Ribadu can fit into that big shoes? Do you feel so?
Now, as a head of anti-graft agency, as it were then, it's a different thing entirely. Fighting graft is different from fighting insecurity.
That's correct.
So we cannot judge his performance from that point relating it to fighting insecurity. Now, there's no nexus to connect what he did then and what he is expected to do now.
So are you predicting that he may not perform? Are you predicting that he may not be able to perform?
As a trained police officer, he knows what to do. See, we all have our area of expertise. A police officer is trained to fight crime, to gather intelligence, and if he has risen to that act, in policing, such a job should be difficult for him to handle.
Okay, so you think he's not fit for that position?
He's fit very well. Why not?
Okay, okay. So let's come to the security affairs in Nigeria, the security issues so far, right? Mr. Ribadu is coming into the system, a system that has seen so many casualties, so many insurgent groups, you know, emerge.
Sectarian violence.
Yes, so many times we see, oh, like we have the sit-at-home order, we have the IPOP issue, we have the banditry,
Boko Haram,
and a whole lot. And then he's coming into this kind of system. I understand that he may have, of course, sat back to study, and like Monguno says, he has handed over a note, a comprehensive note, probably had lectured him on what has been on ground, right? And then this is what he's coming in to see. And he's coming into the security to advise the president on how to go about this. Now, link it back, like Shegun said, to his, you know, former officers and experience on the job. Again, how do you think he's going to act?
How do you think he's going to perform?
Well, fighting insecurity, or if he must succeed, he must have the support of Mr. President. Don't forget, late Abacha said if insurgency lasts for 24 hours,
the hand of government is in it.
Government today has the hand in it.
Exactly.
So we cannot see. There's no insecurity in the country that the government today is not aware of, or to what extent is not aware of. Now, if Ribadu wants to succeed, Mr. President must give all the support, must lead to all the advice he has to offer to Mr. President. So fighting insurgency, banditry is not supposed to be that of a difficult task if he's giving all the necessary support to launch what he needs to do to get them curbed.
Okay, comrade,
I said earlier,
hold that line of thought.
Yes.
Let me add to it so that the conversation begins to have more substance. Let's quickly scroll through the roles of the Office of the National Security Advisor. I don't know if my producer has that text. The significant roles of the National Security Advisor. The coordinator on national security shall be a principal staff officer in the office of the President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces. And Section 4.3 defines the role of the coordinator on national security to include, one, on the screen, advising the President on matters concerning intelligence activities of the created agency. The second one is making recommendations in relation to the activities of the agencies to the President as contingencies may warrant. Highlight the word contingencies. 3, correlating and evaluating intelligence reports relating to national security and providing the appropriate dissemination of such intelligence within government using existing facilities as the President may direct. So it's completely at the behest of the presidency, just like the institution of the DSS. Then the fourth and the penultimate, determining the number and level of staff to be employed by each agency established by the Act. And then the final, but not the least, doing such other things in connection with the foregoing provisions of this section as the President may determine. So completely he's at the exclusive prerogative of the presidency. So looking at these vital roles, producer, please keep the roles on the screen so that my guests can see. Looking at these vital roles, do you think that he can manage these 5, especially once again, judging from the background of just policing and economic crimes? We are talking about multifaceted sectarian crisis, multifaceted banditry.
It could be international.
Yes.
Defending the nation as well.
Even at some point, there are international intrusions from other African countries. Do you think someone who has been dealing with economic crime and financial crimes will be able to deal with something as multifaceted as this? Comrade.
Shago, let me tell you something about the police. Some of us might not under, some of us might not, some of us might not understand the strength a policeman has. When it comes to crime or criminology, the police still remains the best option in unraveling crimes in every society. You see, part of the responsibility is for him to look at intelligence activities and created agencies. Now, don't forget, I mentioned intelligence gathering from the beginning. I also mentioned the support of Mr. President in actualizing some of those goals that have been set for the NSA to achieve. Now, side by side, if you look at it properly, intelligence gathering still remains the basics of fighting banditry, what's it called now, insurgency, or any form of crime.
Okay.
And the best agency that have the wherewithal in that area is the police. Let me shock you. If somebody starts selling marijuana today, in less than 24 hours, the police are already aware. Now, in every ward, in every divisional police headquarters, if you engage the police at that level, they will be able to tell you who are the criminals in that locality.
Comrade Osaze, I want to drag you. I want to
guys.
drag you to the arena now. I want to drag you to the arena now. Are you now saying that successive NSAs have been round pegs in square holes? Is that what you're trying to say? If you say the police is best suited for this, and right from, I don't know whether my producer has, I don't know whether my producer has that table of list of the past NSAs. And they have all had military or naval or Air Force backgrounds. Are you now saying that those choices, right from, good, thank you, right from Obasanjo, right from Abdullahi Mohammed, Abubakar, since before 1999, down to Nuhu Ribadu on your screen, are you now saying all those office of the National Security Advisors were chosen in error, or they weren't the most suited? Because your narration seems to best fit the fact or the premise that the police is good for such a job. Comrade.
Not necessarily so. Not necessarily so. Now, the army, the military, also have an intelligence arm.
That is correct.
But again, we are looking at the agency that is primarily saddled with some certain responsibilities. For instance, the army, by law, the army can also control traffic. I don't know if you are aware. By our Nigerian constitution, the army can also control traffic. But that is not their core area. Now, if we bring the military to act as the National Security Agency, of course, they can try a great deal. But when it comes to understanding crimes and the society, the police remains number one at that level.
Okay,
so now, the police is closer to the masses than every other security agencies.
Osaze, we've been talking about...
So they understand the psyche of citizens.
Okay. Okay, we've
So
been
they also understand crimes more than every other government security agencies.
So if I can make a deduction, comrade, if I can make a deduction, appointing a police officer is more suited. I just want a monosyllable. Is it a yes or a no?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay,
right.
Back to Comrade Osaze. Can you hear me?
Very well.
Okay, we've been talking about the person of Ribadu, okay? And then we're forgetting the kind of crimes that's coming to the country to come and fight. And then most times we see the military, okay, the army, in the front, a battlefield. Of course, there are those ones that get to stay in front of, you know, the bandits get to go to Sambisa Forest and the rest to fight the bandits as well.
Yeah.
And not even the police. So let's keep the personality of Ribadu aside. He has been met the NSA, of course, and of course he knows the challenges ahead. Now let's even look at the security challenges that Nigeria is currently facing.
Exactly.
Okay, let's look at the issue of banditry, issue of kidnapping, issue of headsmen, and a whole lot of them in Nigeria. Now, this is a new administration that is coming in, and we've seen reforms in, of course, that old service chiefs have gone home, and we have new service chiefs now, and that includes Ribadu, of course, to come in and, of course,
as
bring
new
his
hands.
bring his own idea and fight. Let's explore the challenges that Nigeria already faces in the security sector.
Comrade, are you there? Or we lost you?
No, I didn't get the last part.
Okay, I said we've talked about the person of Ribadu. It's now time for us to take a look at the challenges that Ribadu is coming in to fight. We've mentioned headsmen, we've mentioned banditry, we've mentioned a whole lot of them.
Sectarian crisis, Southern Kaduna, genocide. Forgive me for using that word, because a lot of authors and writers have said that the issues in Southern Kaduna has almost gotten to the level of genocide, where unknown faces, armed people, come straight to the south and displace people, kill and maim children and women. And then weeks later, they say once the villages, people have departed out of fear, they say a few weeks later, new faces arrive and begin to live in such society as if nothing happened. So what my colleague is asking you is, in the face of all this, you know, kind of guerrilla warfare that does not seem to have a kind of pattern, do you think, again, that Ribadu will have such a capacity, you know, to be able to advise accordingly for these policy changes for us to see a real, you know, improvement in Nigerian security? Remember, security is actually the thread that holds a nation together. There is no nation building without security and peace. Comrade.
Okay, I get you now. I get you now. Now, insecurity comes in different kinds. And your approach to each of them also differs. There are some instances where some persons have been marginalized, which has raised issue of agitations leading to unrest and all of that. That also has its own kind of approach. There are a situation where you need to employ ADRO to resolve insecurity issue. So it depends on the approach Nuhu Ribadu decide to employ in resolving each of these different types of insecurity we have found in the country. Now, because at that level of policing, he has embarked on several courses, several programs, trainings that have equipped him to handle some of these crises according to the needs they desire. Now, when you look at insurgency, for instance, most times we need to look at the remote causes of these issues. At times, our approach matters. At times, some of these issues just have to do with some kind of dissatisfaction from a certain persons, that your approach cannot resolve all those insurgency you think cannot, that could not be even resolved by the use of arms. So
okay.
Ribadu, who have attained that act in police,
okay,
comrade, approach is suitable.
Comrade, please, sorry for interrupting. Comrade Efe Odomo, you finally joined us. Sorry for the network issues. Can you hear us? Can you hear us, Comrade Efe?
I'm hearing you clear.
Very good. Okay, you have just roughly about 6 minutes to contribute. Sorry, I'm sure we can have you another time. We've been talking about the challenges, the multifaceted challenges of sectarian violence, of banditry, headsmen, killers, Boko Haram and guerrilla terrorism, and the experience of Nuhu Ribadu. The questions are, people are asking, is that can he fit in that big shoes and be able to help propel a policy that will improve security in Nigeria?
Away from that, let me just add this. You know, remember the fallout, of course, that is currently going on, but caused by the 2023 general elections, where we have some, would I say, ethnic groups and religious groups, you know, having issues with each other. How is it, or how important is it that Ribadu is able to advise the president, of course, not to take irrational decisions as pertaining to these issues, not to cause a divide in the country as well?
Comrade Ife, if you can hear us, shoot.
Yeah. Thank you for having me.
Welcome.
First of all, let me start by saying the choice of Nuhu Ribadu is not a mistake at all. The guy has been there. He has seen everything from beginning. He knows exactly what to do. Being a politician.
All right. When you say he has seen everything, what do you mean?
From what background?
So the information in the society.
Comrade Ife, sorry to interrupt.
When he was the head of the EFCC.
Can you hear me? When you say...
He did. And he has all the experience in the world, both military and civilian, to tackle the problems we have. It does not actually matter the position you occupy. It matters most the experience you are bringing into that system. Don't forget, the word police is protection of life in case of emergency. That is the meaning of police. If you are fighting a conventional war, then you bring in the military. But if you are dealing with civil unrest, police is more detailed and more in-depth in it.
Okay, let me take you further.
If you talk of the Boko Haram,
can I take you further, comrade?
The herdsmen, the banditry, and every other thing.
Okay, can I take you further?
The success of this fight depends solely on the man that is discussing with you, who is Mr. President. If you remember, Obasanjo in his time said, you have all the time in the world to advise me, but I may not take all the advice you have given me.
That is true.
That statement alone will weaken the advisor.
Okay, can I take you?
The job of a security advisor, on which Ribadu is occupying today, is to gather all the intelligence report from all the service chiefs. He is more or less the general manager of this administration. And he reports to only the MD.
In terms of security.
He knows the number of men to send to a particular place if there is civil unrest. And he knows the type of advice and the type of weaponry that should be deployed. With his position, he is privy to every security dislocation before they happen. And when Ribadu was in charge of the EFCC, he never disappointed.
Okay, can I take you further now? Can you hear me? Can you hear me at all?
The most important thing we should do
Comrade can
is
hear
to
me.
make sure that...
Okay, can you hear me now?
I think... Hello, comrade.
Comrade,
what
are you there?
The causes? How did it emanate? Who are the people behind it? Of what purpose is Boko Haram? How did they tend to tame it? All these are the things he should tabulate. After tabulating them, he will not go after those who are perpetrating it. We are all aware the causes of all this mayhem. Because, well,
can I take you further?
Okay, you're not done. Several quarters.
You know when he says
Boko Haram
apprehend, you know,
for a purpose. And what is that purpose? You do not clear the effect of an ailment, you clear the cause of an ailment. And that is what Ribadu should go for. Somebody was saying that because he's a policeman and of a lower rank, the military chiefs will not obey him. No. In appointment, there is something they call positional power. If you listen and watch carefully, what the chief security officer to former head of state, Abacha did, you will know quite well that it is that position that is tied to that respect. Respect is not tied to your rank. It is tied to the position you are given. He has the right to checkmate, scrutinize the jobs of the service chiefs. That is his main primary function.
Okay,
if
comrade.
he gets this well,
Comrade, I'm afraid at this point, thank you very much. You've made your point. Let me quickly touch Honorable Edigi a little.
Of course, we have just...
we are very positive-minded people. You know, everybody, every sector of this society is supposed to contribute to nation building. So we are optimistic and we hope that this current administration, even with its choice of appointments, will move Nigeria forward. Are you of the same opinion, leftist Osaze Edigi? Are you there?
Okay, I don't think he's there. I think we lost the connection. Okay,
Well,
let's
anyway, time is
yes.
Okay, so
Let me try to connect.
okay.
You are connected. If you can hear me, you are connected.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Oh, you didn't hear my question.
Okay, so we just have 2 minutes. You just want to
No, not at all.
Okay, we must thank you. We must thank you so much for joining us. We really are out of time. Comrade Feodomo, thank you so much for joining us. We really are out of time.
Thank you,
We are
Comrade
thrown the
Osaze.
question and we felt we'll be able to squeeze in 1 minute or so. But time is really time is really fast spent. And the network was not good today. But you know, these developments the conversations are ongoing. And we hope that we'll be able to connect, have a better connection, to have these conversations more robust next time. And back to you, Rachel. I think our two guests have really touched on some things. And for the first time, I am seeing it clearly that the actual work of a security advisor is best suited to the police officer rather than the military. And that's the first time I'm seeing that perspective. And it's beginning to make sense.
Well, I can't say less anyway. A quick one because of time. Thank you so much, Shegun,
Thank you.
for coming on the show.
Thank you.
you.
Thank you.